Designers, please stop trying to make streetwear brands. I know that there are a few designers on this platform that make their bread and butter by teaching you how to make streetwear with like cool contemporary graphics. But let me be as blunt as I possibly can. I don't care how good your designs are. You probably don't have what it takes. I know that's rough, but simply put, if you are not in the streets, then you have no business making a streetwear brand. Let me say it a little bit different. If you are not in the streets, your streetwear brand will likely fail. By the way, this video is made possible by Printify Premium, but we'll talk more about that later. So what do I mean when I say you will likely fail as a streetwear designer? If you do not spend a majority of your time immersed in surf skate culture, hip hop culture, punk rock culture, sneaker culture, street culture, you have almost zero chance of winning, because the people who buy streetwear brands require you to have street level operating. If you're not hanging out at skate parks or punk shows or hip hop shows or wherever these kids are hanging out, and you're not also repping a style that turns heads, you're not gonna make a dent. Because at the core, streetwear is an identity, it's not just a style. When you look at the biggest streetwear brands of the world, they all started by cultivating a feverish fan base, by being boots on the ground. This is Bobby Hundreds, co-founder of The Hundreds, one of the most popular streetwear brands in the world right now. And The Hundreds got their start doing exactly what I said. They would print shirts and they would give them out and hand them out and sell them at punk rock shows and hip hop shows and skate parks, and they were boots on the ground. They were in it for the long haul, and they're still in it to this day. And because they built this feverish fan base and have, basically proven that they can sell to just about anybody at this point, they are allowed to now have like crazy collaborations with some of the biggest brands in the world. Something else about Bobby is that he's a prolific writer. In fact, he wrote this book. I highly recommend it. It's essentially the history of The Hundreds for like the first 18 years of their existence. And it really has, there's a lot of really great information. And if you did really want to start a streetwear brand, I highly recommend you pick this book up, because it'll give you a lot of tips, but it'll also give you a really strict reality. Now, from the outside, it looks like The Hundreds are actually killing it, especially if you look at all the things that they've been doing and like NFTs and Web3 stuff like that. They really are doing a great job. But he'll tell you himself, it has been a grind since day one. In the book, it even illustrates about how many different times he thought it could be over. Just like that. Today's streetwear brands like Supreme and Off-White and Bathing Ape are as synonymous with fashion as Louis Vuitton and Gucci. But if you ask the founders of any of those brands, they would probably tell you a similar story of anguish, crushing debt, and many, many long nights with no sleep. And all of that while still trying to maintain the authenticity of a streetwear brand by being real with the kids in the street. If all that sounds really exciting to you, well then go get down with your bad self. Close this video, make sure you hit the like button before you do, and then go get to work, because you ain't gonna make a streetwear brand by sitting here watching YouTube videos. I promise you that. And for the rest of you, if you feel like that sounds like a really bad time, well, don't feel bad, because it might actually be a bad time. I mean, it's a lot of hard work for almost zero guarantee for a payoff. But if you're like me, you still want to design things. We still want to make cool merch. So then what do we do instead? It's called a lifestyle brand, folks. Lifestyle brand? What does that even mean, David? Sounds like something you make for retirees. I want you to take 17 seconds to think about the things that you would be passionate enough about to design product around. Your occupation, your locale, your hobbies, your indulgences. All of those things can be turned into a lifestyle brand. Nurses who love traveling, travelers who love knitting, knitters who love chocolate, chocolate lovers who are also nurses. Contrary to common brand ideologies, micro niches can actually work, but they aren't 100% necessary. Maybe you do want to talk about traveling, but you don't necessarily need to cater to just nurses. Doctors like to travel too, so do ambulance drivers, lawyers, insurance underwriters, police officers. The goal isn't to find the greatest micro niche of all time. The goal is actually to find a lifestyle that is being underserved by predominantly crappy design. Let's jump on over to the world's leading purveyor of overused and kitschy typefaces, Etsy. If you go to search up travel t-shirts on Etsy, you can almost visualize in your head what you're gonna see there. It's basically tens of thousands of same old products with a very small amount of quality design work. These shirts practically scream, I'm only gonna wear this once, and then it's going into the back of the drawer forever. And of course, none of these would be worn by anybody with a streetwear aesthetic, except maybe out of irony, which is actually an interesting approach if you think about it. There might be a market there. Now let's jump over to another site that I ran across called airporttag.com. In my opinion, this is travel swag done right. Simple, well-executed designs that are not cliche or kitschy at all. They're fun, they're modern, and they immediately evoke a travel lover sensibility in a way that just isn't being done anywhere else. Airport Tags has carved out space in their niche and executed on their vision with almost near perfection. I never like to say perfect, because there's always something you can change. And if you can believe it, with some exceptions for some dropship items, this shop is almost 100% print on demand. Now there are a lot of print on demand businesses. In fact, I would bet that there are a lot of print on demand travel-oriented businesses. But what sets Airport Tags apart is their unique take on what it means to be a traveler. These designs don't look anything like what you see on some of these generic travel love shops. But wait, there's a catch. If you Google gifts for pilots, then airport tags shows up deep on the second page, which isn't terrible, but if you're just trying to exist solely on search engine optimization, well, this might as well be death for a small brand. In social media, they're doing a little bit better. Well, let me clarify. They're doing really well on Facebook, and they're doing pretty good on Instagram, but they're not really doing very well anywhere else, which tells me one thing: Facebook ads. I'm willing to bet that their growth strategy essentially relies on Facebook and Instagram ads. In fact, while I was doing my research for this segment of the video, I was actually served an ad by airport tags on Instagram. So they're obviously using ads to grow their business, but I'm not here to talk about ad strategies or, anything like that. However, it does bring up an interesting point. We need to talk about profit margins. If a company like airport tags is spending money on ads, well, then it only makes sense that they need to have products that have a really good margin for those ads to make sense. And with print on demand, margin can sometimes be a problem, because if you're selling a print on demand t-shirt for 25 bucks, but you paid $14 to get that shirt made, and then you added advertising costs on top of that, well, your margins are going to be very slim, if not put you in the red. I'm pretty sure nobody here is trying to start a business that loses money, am I right? Let's go back to Airport Tag's homepage real quick. T-shirts and mugs are number one and number two things that people usually make with their print-on-demand brands. And with Airport Tags, they actually sell their t-shirts for about 30 bucks or more, depending on the shirt. And with their mugs, they sell them for $20. The only exception to the mug thing for them is this one here, which is actually customizable, and so they charge a little bit more for it. Now, mugs are a loss leader. A lot of people like mugs, and a lot of people like mugs that have cool things like they've got here on this page, but very few people will pay a premium on a mug because there's just an idea of what a mug should cost. Now, if we scroll down to their best sellers, you look at this luggage tag and this wireless charger, this watch band, this pillow. These things probably have a tremendous margin, and so these are the things that you would probably see them advertise. They're gonna bring you in with these advertiser selections and then hopefully keep you to sell you that thing and then maybe a t-shirt and a mug. I'll be honest with you, if you go to airporttags.com right now and then turn around and go to Facebook or go to Instagram, well, you might get served an ad from them, and it might actually be a t-shirt or a mug. And then you click through, and then they're gonna do their best to keep you there long enough to sell you something that gives them a better margin. Mugs and t-shirts get attention, so maybe once in a while they do try that effect and they get people over to their websites to sell them, or at least get them enticed by that thing, and then maybe try to sell them something else that has a better margin on it. But because of the small margins, it's my guess that you probably won't see those mug ads. Want to know what else helps with profit margins? Free stuff! More specifically, free access to Printify Premium, where you can get up to 20% off of all of the products on the site. Printify already has some of the most competitive prices in the print-on-demand space, but Printify Premium takes that even further. Premium normally runs $29 a month, but if you're selling about $150 in print-on-demand products, well then Premium already pays for itself. But Printify is sweetening the deal by offering it for free for the first month, and all you gotta do is enter that code Conrey down below, and you get it free for 30 days. Like I said, after that, it's 29 bucks a month, or you can pay annually and save even more. But I'm willing to bet that if you take that 30 days and really focus your energy, I'm betting you can probably make about 150 bucks, if not more, and make it all worthwhile. I've used a few different print-on-demand companies, but Printify is my number one go-to. The customer service is top-notch, and because they've partnered with some of the highest quality print providers out there, I kind of have the flexibility of how and where I get to print my stuff. Now, Printify services are free to use. You do not have to pay for anything just to get started, but if you did want to make sure you get that extra 20% discount, then go ahead and sign up for Premium, use the code Conrey, and then tell them I sent you. The irony in all this is that at this exact moment, I'm not actually offering any print-on-demand products. I will soon, just not right now. I've got more superlative things to work on, but that's a story for next time. But in the meantime, watch this video about the most popular print-on-demand products and why you might want to be selling them, all right? Until next time, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya.